Today we have the man who needs no introduction on the podcast.
The one and only.
Dan, the title man.
You guys are great. You guys are not right, and I love you for it.
We were perfectly in harmony for that.
Didn't even practice.
Daniel Flath is All-American Title Company's closing operations manager.
He's amazing.
He has nearly 3 decades of title experience under his belt, which is weird because he's only 29. So I don't know how that's possible.
Thanks, Brooke. Thank you.
Dan knows everything about title, the ins and outs.
Well, the things I don't know, I have really good people around me who make me look good, so which is awesome.
So we're excited because today we're going to dive right in and talk about
title.
Well, no, I thought we were going to talk about something other than title.
No, yeah, nothing boring about title. And we have strayed away from, oh, did you hear that? That was the pen made that noise.
Yeah,
that was weird.
I know.
We haven't talked about title on this podcast. Ever in our
really?
year and a half of doing it.
You're like episode 48 and we still have never discussed title.
Because
title's
most
boring.
people don't want to talk about, but I kind of make title fun.
Well, yeah, you do.
Well, you do, but it's not sexy.
Oh, but it is. I mean, seriously. I know. Let's talk about adverse possession.
Yeah.
Dutus tocum. I just throw out Latin words. They sound cool.
Yeah, I was with it.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. We wanted to talk about, from a real estate agent and loan officer's perspective, how important it is to align yourself with the title company as a partnership. I think this day and age, we've seen a lot of people that align themselves with title companies either because they're affiliated to that title company or they truly just don't even know the value that a great title company can bring to them.
A great independent title company can bring to them.
Yeah, especially independent. I know everybody has to earn business, but if we don't bring our A game, like all of us, every single day, we're always one bad transactional way from losing that partnership. They depend on us. They have to trust us. I mean, they're the face of the transaction. So if we don't do an excellent job, we set them up to fail. And I've always believed it's about making sure our partners are able to get a referral, whether you're a loan officer, listing agent, selling agent, investor, builder. If they don't get a referral, we don't have a transaction. No transaction, we're done. So we need them to be successful. So when I talk to the closing teams, it's about making sure our partners, our lenders, our realtors are successful. We do our best to make them look good.
Yeah, we used to say we make your butt look good.
Yeah, I can't get away with that, you know, just saying. But I always said the key to our success is yours. And that was just my tagline.
So, Dan, I'd like to hear your opinion since you've been around for a while now.
Come on. I'm 29. I'm 20. I actually, the hair is dyed.
But you've seen it all. You've worked at various different companies. Mm-hmm. Why is it so important, in your opinion, to align yourself with an independent title company? Because you've seen both.
Right. I have worked for I've worked with ones that are aligned, and if not managed properly, you end up where there's this sense of entitlement. Like we just get the business because we have a relationship, and that mindset is pervasive and it shows up in little places everywhere. And the customer notices. They start to feel like a number, and nobody wants to feel like a number. It's not a good customer experience. When you're an independent, every file, every transaction, it matters. You're grateful for it. I mean, I know how hard you guys work with our partners to bring somebody on and start a relationship with them. That is put on my shoulders as operations manager and our production operations manager, we take it very seriously. It only takes one misstep to chip away at that trust at a minimum. And most times if you don't set them up to succeed, your partner, they're going to go elsewhere. And so it's a competitive situation because there are other options out there. And if they're happy, they'll keep on coming back. And we've seen, especially All American Title, because we talk about service matters, from every day. And so that focus on it, it's top of mind. And it's not just, I call our receptionist the director of first impression. See, and that mindset is the culture of what we have here. And so you, as an independent, you got to earn it every day, every single day, every single transaction, every single email. And believe me, I know if we don't earn it because, and it happens from time to time, even with the best of intentions, but we're on the phone trying to figure out what we could have done better. We're on the phone listening. What could we do better? And sometimes we have to apologize, but that's pretty rare. It's rare, especially with the crew we have, the team we have.
And don't you believe, too, is having the independent mindset and the mindset of service matters and everything along those lines, that the culture within the company is much better? And I believe, I like to work with people who I like, who are positive. You want to align yourself with that. I have whoever you are around is who you not become, but who you are, right? Like if you're hanging out with a lot of drug addicts,
how did we get onto drug addicts here? But either way, but birds of a feather, right?
Yes.
And I think we'll go with birds of a feather. It's like,
you know what I mean? Like if you're hanging out around with bad people, you're most likely you can fall or do bad things. And so you want to send business to people who you like and that align with your morals and values. And so kind of touch on that or talk about that.
Absolutely. This is part of, we're not just an independent title company. We've been in business for over 22 years. And so just like people,
when you were still in diapers, Dan, I'm just going to keep making that joke. I don't know.
I know. Someday you'll be 29. I know. Just saying, someday. But you grow over the course of time as a company. And when you're out of the gate, it's hard, when teenagers, they can never learn from other people's mistakes. They got to step in it. All American Title is a grown-up title company. We've done things right. We've recreated it. Sometimes we stepped in it and we've learned from it. And over the course of 22 years, you just get better at it. The other thing that happens is you build a team that has the natural tendency for the right culture, the right mindset. If a customer calls us with a problem, we see it as an opportunity to help our customer out. I've been at places where it's seen as a nuisance, like they're irritated by it. And like, no, don't be irritated by this. This is why we're here. If our customers knew everything about title, what the heck would we do? I mean, we are the experts in the room on title. That's what we're there for. It's just that simple. And 22 years of being in business, the cream rises to the top. And we have the best crew that I've ever worked with in my nearly 30 years that I accomplished in 29. So, but we have one of the best crews. I mean, people who aren't afraid to work hard, people who are problem solvers, people who say please and thank you and are grateful for the relationships we have and are grateful for each buyer or seller, and people who understand that this is the largest transaction the consumer, sellers, buyers, or refinance clients, borrowers are going through typically in their lives. Not always, but there's a good chance this is the largest dollar amount transaction that they will experience in their lives. Heck, if somebody rings my gum up wrong at Target, I'm a little bent out of shape. I can imagine, $400,000, $500,000 purchase price.
Correct.
Yeah, you're charged up and you're moving. And you're trying to depend on, cousin Bob. Is he going to show up to help move the couch, or is he sleeping in? So, I mean, there are all these other pieces that by the time the customer comes to the closing table, or if we're doing it online, are all these pieces that they bring this energy and just sometimes exhaustion to the table. We have to be so mindful of it. And just being the best we can be takes that energy and puts it to a positive. It should be a celebration, whether you're buying or selling. If you're selling, you're moving on to another chapter of your life. If you're buying, you're opening up a new chapter of your life. But it's a celebration. We have people who get that. Mm-hmm. And that's one of those X factors. You can teach it, but by the time you're teaching it, you're probably not going to get it. So I think people are born with that mentality, like, I want to take care of this person. I want to take care of my customer. And at this point here, with 22 years of experience, we've got that crew here. You just can't start out of the gate with that, but we got that crew. I'm so proud to work with All American Title and my teammates, and you guys too. I mean, for real, kudos to you guys. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I know. Now I'll start singing Kumbaya.
Yeah. One of the things that I am most impressed about ever since I started at All American Title Company is Nikki Brodel, for example. She's been with the company for 19 years.
Yeah.
So almost since day one. And it doesn't matter if she has one closing that day or 9 closings that day. Every closing is going to be fun and exciting. And I was like, how do you do that?
Because she loves what she does, and it shows. I have where my office is, it's right outside the lobby. So I have the unique privilege of hearing our closers greet the customers, hearing our receptionists greet the customers. And I can say everybody's got their own style, their own flavor, but it's like they're excited. Our closers are excited to be a part of a really cool thing that's happening to our customer. They're buying a home, they're selling a home. It's an awesome experience, and they're excited to be there.
So I feel like you touched on this a lot, but I'm going to kind of ask the question, and maybe a little bit of repetitive, but as a loan officer and real estate agent, who's, the demographic of listeners that we're trying to achieve, is why is it important then to align yourself with a company like All American Title, an independent title company? I know some of the answers I feel like you've touched on, but let's talk about that again, or like kind of nail in on why is it so important for their business of having that
partnership?
Yes.
Yeah. Any good partnership is based on trust, and you don't start off with trust. Some people say, oh, you can give trust, but if people were honest with themselves, you have to earn trust.
Correct.
And when you align yourself with a trustworthy partner, you stop thinking about it. You don't worry about it. You can focus in and do your job. If you're a loan officer, you can make sure they get the best product available for them. If you're a realtor, you can work on negotiating the purchase price, negotiating timing of closing. You can stay in your lane because you don't feel like you need to lean over and compensate for somebody like, oh, did you get in touch with them? Did you send that notice? Did you get that signature? Are we going to close on time? All these things. Communication, of course, is the best way and the most tried and true way, clear communication to build trust. Like if something goes wrong, we don't know what a title report's going to show. Maybe there's an old mortgage on there. Our agents and our partnerships trust us that we're going to say, hey, there's this thing on title that will require a little bit more time. I'm just letting you know, rather than a surprise 2 days before closing. So aligning yourself with an independent title company is important because you have that partnership built on trust that allows you to stay in your lane and do your job really well.
Along with would you agree of taking it to then the next level? So then you don't have to continue to go to the title company and manage the transaction or see, or even have their clients. We have systems in place, right, that they can come to us and saying, here's the, you need to bring the ID or the cash. Like they're not going to continue to go to the loan officer or real estate agent for it because.
I hadn't thought of that, but you're absolutely right. Like when we, if we didn't do our jobs well, again, it's the loan officer and the agent that didn't get the call. Let's pretend like didn't send out the closing notices and it wasn't delivered. And I love our system, the fact that it's automated and all that. It's just so slick, so easy to manage. But let's say that didn't happen. Now you're supposed to close on the 30th and you haven't gotten any notification. Is it the title company that gets the call? No, it's the agent or the loan officer. And so again, all the things that don't happen are the things that clear up the air when you have a great partnership with the customer.
And then you can focus on your job of then taking it to the next level of 100%. Having more applications or doing more showings or what that looks like to take it to make more income 100%, for you because you're aligned with a partner that should be.
Well, and let's also keep in mind, not that you don't know this, but like referrals. If you're sitting there and you're trying to reach out to your realtor or whomever you're working with saying, when is my closing? Are you more or less likely to refer a friend, family member, a neighbor to that agent? Probably not. In that, we're very mindful of that. Like, it matters to get all that stuff right. And I've always said title insurance, no one thing is complicated. It just isn't. If you look at each thing, it's relatively simple. The kind of the way to kick it, the thing that makes it challenging is the sheer number of things, the timing of things, the importance of each thing. It's like, okay, sending out a closing notification, treating people with gratitude and respect when they come to the office. They're all little things, but if you do any one of those wrong, it just puts a bad spin on the whole thing.
Yeah, like when I'm on sales calls, I'm always like, when you're with an independent title company, we treat each transaction like gold because at the end of the day, let's say everything goes smooth, but then the customer's closing experience isn't well. Mm-hmm. That is a direct, like it or not, but like on them. And once again, that's that referral piece, right? So if you don't have like how Nikki, where you're like, how does she do it every single time where she's providing, high level service, fun experience, and able to take the people who might be in there nervous about being like, wow, this is a really big deal. And is the truck there and what's going on to take them here down to like, okay, we got this. This is okay.
Well, I love when one of the coolest things that I get to witness is so sometimes people come in and they're going through a lot. And so they're kind of on a scale 1 to 10, 10 being awesome, 1 being not awesome. They're kind of hovering 2, 3. I love seeing people come in as a 2, 3 and leave as a 10, 11. Mm-hmm. And we got Nikki, we got Cindy, we have Jen, we have Jean, we have Tina, we have Carrie, we have Jody, we have Gina, Bailey, Becky, and I'm sure I'm missing somebody. Roberta, thank you. Oh my goodness, I was just on the phone with her too. We have such an awesome staff, and sometimes you, Brooke, too. It's just like, and people who get it, are really good with managing the emotions of a transaction. So we're all excited and grateful to be at the table with these individuals. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And just an example, I recently heard a story about a closing company. I'm not going to name any names, obviously. Title company, closing company, same thing. You know?
Yeah.
And they didn't offer their clients beverages or just anything in addition to just getting in and getting out. And it's kind of one of those things where it sounds so goofy, but it's those little things that matter so much.
It's not goofy, though. When we talk about our director of first impressions, the receptionist, the closer, the processor, if you have somebody come over to your house, do you just kind of let them come in and find their seats on their own? No, you offer them something to drink. You welcome them. And these are our guests. And you treat them like guests. It's kind of common courtesy. But it's funny how sometimes people get tunnel vision and they don't remember the common courtesy. And it goes back to us being around and thriving for 22 years. Is it 22 or are we up to 23?
22, and on May it'll be 23.
Okay, thank you. I kind of lose track.
Well, that 29, 30 years experience.
Yeah, I know. I know.
it.
When I start fudging the numbers with my own age. But that is where you end up with the right people, teammates. And you're talking about birds of a feather in your way. Yes. All right. You're talking about birds of a feather. Negative attitudes are contagious, extremely contagious. And you guys know that we focus heavily on making sure not only do we have a positive attitude, but we have a really good work environment that fosters that positive attitude. And that matters. People hear it. When you have song in your voice and you're excited about what you do and you're in a good position, you're supported by the company you work for, your teammates, and ownership, it shows up just in the tone of your voice. It's interesting, since I've been with All American, my family, they go, Dan, you just sound happy. I'm like, yeah, because I am, and it matters because the amount of energy that goes into making yourself happy when you don't naturally feel it. But that goes to Kevin and Kevin building something well before I got here.
Well, and it goes like, I lost my train of thought on this.
No, derailed.
It was along those lines.
But there's momentum that builds, and there's momentum that can build in a positive way, and there's momentum that can build in a negative way. And we are so mindful of it to keep it going in a positive way. It's like it. Yeah, that's why we call it culture.
Yeah, because I got this back, because you spend more time at work almost than you spend more time with your family, right? So it's like your work family. So you wanted to have it to be a positive atmosphere, because then I always say to my husband, if everything, if I'm happy at work.
So now we're going to your husband. No.
But then like when I come home, like then it's not like coming home and like wanting to. Everyone wants to decompress, but it's not negative, right? Like it was like, everyone has days, don't get me wrong, but.
I have very few days at this point. Yeah. I just do. It's kind of like I'm energized when I come in.
And we want to do that for our clients, for the real estate agents and loan officers, that they don't have those days when aligning with an independent title company.
Well, I want to touch on that too, because I just think that, especially, we say we spend more time at work than at home, and then the time you spend at home, you're sleeping too, right? Mm-hmm. That's just how the math works out. But real estate agents and loan officers, they're working 24/7 basically.
Right.
And so it matters even more to have that positive energy and atmosphere around you. And this sounds so like hippy dippy, like positive vibes you want to be around, but that client you can see right through it from the first email that you get from somebody to the last time you say goodbye walking out the door. It's I just want to like stress that how much it matters to have a
positive taste. I always say our customers walk away with a positive taste in their mouth. And there's that phrase that people don't remember what you said, but they remember how you made them felt about what you said. Yeah. Did I get that right? Yeah. I always get those things wrong, but the idea is there someplace.
Lizzie gets them wrong too all the time. We call it her Lizzieisms.
Lizzieisms? Okay. You should start writing them down. I'd be interested.
Oh, I have.
Brooke does. She writes them down and puts them in a Word document.
Because, perfect. Like birds of a feather, but Lizzie says, yeah. Anyways.
Well, Dan, thank you so much for coming on here today and giving your insight and talking a little bit about how it's so important to align yourself with an independent title company.
Partnerships based on trust.
Mm-hmm. And we can totally edit this out if you don't have a good story, but we didn't prepare you for this. But do you have like a title crazy story about how you saved, like how title insurance saved somebody?
Let's see. I kind of go to closing stories.
Yeah.
I mean, I got, so this is where kind of the mentality of service matters. I've always said, for me, I get customer service through operational eyes. So I'm not just moving software pieces around in workflow. I look at it from a different perspective, and how does this look to our client? So anyway, so going the extra mile per se. So I did a closing once where we were going to meet at the bank, okay? And it was a husband and a wife and 2 kids, okay? And this is February. So it's February in Minnesota, so it's not warm.
Yeah, it's cold.
We get to the bank, and the bank's closed. And so now I'm there, they're there, and we have no place to close. They got kids, so going anywhere is a challenge. And so now I have kid 1 and kid 2 left and right of me, and I'm in the back seat of their minivan. Oh yeah, I'm in the back seat of their minivan, and the husband and wife are in the front, and I'm presenting documents. And you guys know me, I wear a suit and tie, so I'm sitting suit and tie with Timmy and Bethany over on the left and right. It's
funny.
like, and so those are the types of things. Like I still remember, and I have dozens of stories like that. And even at the time, it was like, I kind of, and we're all like this, like, how can we get it done? Because we get thrown curveballs that we cannot see coming. And if you're not excited about the opportunity to field that curveball, to be able to solve that problem and wow somebody, if everything goes right, we kind of don't have an opportunity to really shine. I'm not saying that I want everything to go wrong, but we have people who shine under those types of situations, whatever it is. So that's my little story.
Yeah, that was good.
I like that. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dan.
You guys are awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.